Welcome to Vima Learning. Today, we're looking at another vital maths concept. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a revision hack. Ready? Let's get started.
So today we are going to be talking about circle theorems. And circle theorems is describing the relationships between angles, arcs, and chords within a circle. But before we go on, we need to define certain things. And the first thing we have to talk about as part of a circle is the center. You can't draw a circle without its center. There has to be a center. And we always represent the center with that point O. And in this case, this is the center. That point O is the center of the circle. And you see, that is necessary for two things. Number one, to recognize the diameter and to recognize the radius. When you draw a circle like this, and then you have the center, and then there's a line that passes through the center that has its end point on the circumference here and on the circumference here. That's a diameter. So it has to pass through the center, and its endpoints must be on opposite edges of the circle. Like this is one edge, this is another edge. So when you have that kind of a line, that's a diameter. And in a question, we are going through a question. Don't assume that any line is a diameter unless it is specifically said that it's a diameter, or you can see the line passing through the center. Oh, that's a diameter. Now, any other line that's passing starts from the center and touches the edge of the circle, touches the circumference of the circle, that's the radius. It's R, the radius. So in the original diagram that we have, AB is the diameter, OC is the radius. Now DE is also a line, and it touches at both ends, it touches the circumference of the circle, but it is not the diameter. Why not? Because it's not passing through the center. So for you to know that this particular line is a diameter, it has to pass through the center. Okay, now DE, if it's not a diameter, what is it? That's a chord. Any line that divides the circle in the sense that it has both ends of that line touching the circumference of the circle, but does not pass through the center, that's a chord. It's a chord. So this is a chord. Okay, so any other line, if you have this coming from here to here, right? That's a chord. It's touching one end is touching the circumference, the other end is touching the circumference, but it's not passing through the center. That's a chord. So D is a chord, AB is a diameter, and OC is a radius. So the first theorem we're going to be dealing with here is this particular theorem. An angle subtended by a diameter is always angle 90. And we call this angle in a semicircle theorem. Angle in a semicircle theorem. And how does it work? It says that an angle subtended at the circumference by a diameter is always a right angle. Now, a right angle simply means 90 degrees. So, if this diameter AB, we already established that AB is a diameter because it's passing through the center O. If it subtends an angle at the circumference, what does that mean? It means that two lines are coming from AB. One is coming from A, the other is coming from B, and they both join on the edge of the circle. an angle is formed. If they are both coming from the ends of a diameter, then the angle you are going to form is a right angle. It means you are going to form a 90 degree. So if you have a circle and there's a center and then a line passes through, and then there's a line coming from, this is A, this is B, this is O, and the line is coming from here, touches the circumference. A line is coming from B, touches the circumference. So this line coming from A and this line coming from B means that an angle has been subtended at the circumference. That angle will always be 90. So when a diameter subtends an angle at the circumference, it's always going to be 90 degrees. That's the first theorem that we need to understand. It's always going to be 90 degrees. So what do I need to look out for? I need to know that, okay, this angle, the two lines that form an angle, both lines, one is coming from the end of the diameter and the other is coming from the other end of the diameter. So, and both of them are forming at the circumference of the circle. Now, when we have that, we know that angle is 90. That's very important because we are going to be using that to solve one or two questions before we go.
Quick reminder, if you're finding this helpful, hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend. It really helps the channel grow.